Okay, we live now. What's good? Apologize for this. I hate this. Still can't. Oh, shoot, man. Okay, we're going to get this thing right. We're getting closer and closer with this. Next time, I'm going to do it on my, I think I'm going to just do it on my cell phone. So this lighting won't be so bad. This is a mess. But thank you for joining me today. I hope you're having a good day. I'm not having a good day because I got some bad news today. I'm sure you all saw it by now. LaMelo Ball got traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I hate it because LaMelo is one of my favorite players in the NBA, specifically like young players too. It's like Steph Curry, is Kawhi Leonard, and I'll say you could say Jalen Brunson too, my favorite player. But as far as the young guys, it's get adjusted. And the problem I have is this. It blindsided me. This dude damn near had his best season with the Hornets since he made the All-Star team in his second year. But it's like I'm just distraught. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. The last time you saw me on the episode 1 of this show, I was celebrating and excited about the Knicks and the Canes. Now I'm distraught. You see, I got my Lakers hat on. As I told you before, that's my favorite team. The Knicks, my second team, and then I like LaMelo Ball. I wish he would have just got traded to the Lakers or somebody. Wow, the Timberwolves. That's a good backcourt. I give them that, but as far as calling it a good trade, I don't know. I don't think they got enough for LaMelo. Analysts and people in the sports world, they're saying, well, it's a good trade. I don't know. Because the dude is a franchise player. So that to me, I think every franchise player should be getting traded for like multiple first round picks, not just second round picks and player swaps. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just distraught. I don't know, man. This is crazy. And he got traded for Nas Reed. Yeah, that's the thing too. That it's a double whammy for me because I was looking forward to seeing Nas Reed start for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've traded away Randall, so I'm like, yeah, Nas is gonna start for them. Then I get rocked with this news. I don't know what I'm gonna do, y'all. I had this show planned for today anyway, but it's just threw another layer into it that I wasn't prepared for. It's just like, whoa, this NBA all season is getting crazy. And it's not even free agency yet. The draft just ended last night. We got these crazy trades. The Giannis one. Well, I knew Giannis was getting traded, but I didn't expect them to do it to the Heat. I thought the Celtics was gonna get him. That ain't rock me because I don't really I'm not gonna get into that yet. Not the Giannis part yet. But that didn't really surprise me. But this trade did. Makes no sense to me. And I think the Hornets, they got to be stupid. How do you trade your best player away? Your best player that's ascending. You're trading him to go play with Ant-Man, and y'all potentially got your Ant-Man and LaMelo. They came out in the same draft. They had Ant came out. He was number 1, and then LaMelo was number 3, and then Wiseman was number 2. But I always thought that LaMelo and Ant, they should be competing against each other, not playing with each other. Whoa. They got drafted in 2020. So that was in the middle of the COVID. Hey, that was quick. I'm looking through that. That's crazy. I was telling my own a few months ago about this. I said Ant and LaMelo actually have similar career stats if you look at it. But the thing is, I think Ant has been winning more than LaMelo, and Ant had better teams than LaMelo. So that's why he don't really get to shine, because they was talking about LaMelo being a possible face of the league a few years ago when he made the All-Star game. So I don't know what they're going to do with this. I know this. If it all falls down, LaMelo is going to get the blame for this. So I'm going to read off the stats for this. Ant-Man's career stats for his career is 24.6 points per game. LaMelo's is 20.8 per game. Okay, Ant's first year, 19.3 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, 2.9 assists. Second year, 21.3 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 3.8 assists. And he had his career high in rebounds and in steals. So he had in his third year, 24.6 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game, 4.4 assists per game, and 1.6 steals per game. That was his career high. In his fourth year, he had 25.9 points per game and career high in assists. And that was 5.1 assists per game. That was his career high. And 5.4 rebounds per game. And that was for his fourth year. And for his sixth year, he had 27.6 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists per game. And this past season, this was his career high in points per game. It was 28.8 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists per game. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm about to look now. I think he won an All-Star Game MVP, or he was supposed to. Yeah, he won the All-Star Game MVP. And this is his fourth All-Star game appearance. LaMelo made one, but I think he possibly could have made it this year. But the problem with LaMelo is I think a lot of guys gotten better in the league, especially in the East. So it's a lot of guards getting picked over him now. And then the past few years, he would have made it, but injuries. And I feel the same way about Andrew Wiggins, too. There were some years that he could have made it in Minnesota, but he didn't make it. Because his stats said it, but. sometimes if you're on a losing team, it's going to be hard for you to get a lot of those accolades. So these are LaMelo's stats for each year of his career. 15.7 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, 6.1 assists per game. And that's for his rookie season. For his second season, he had 20.1 points per game. And he actually won the Rookie of the Year for that class too. I remember that because at the time he was down in the race. I can't remember if it was Wiseman or Ant-Man. It was one of those guys was leading in the Rookie of the Year race, and LaMelo was injured for that. But when LaMelo came back, he started going off, putting up big numbers. So that's when he ended up winning the Rookie of the Year. Then next year, he made the All-Star team. And he had a career high in rebounds per game. That was 6.7 and 7.6 assists per game. Moving on to his third season, he had 23.3 points per game. He had a career high in assists. That was 8.4 assists per game and 6.7 rebounds per game. Into his fourth year, he scored 23.9 points per game, 5.1 rebounds per game, 8 assists per game. In his fifth year, he had a career high in points. It was 25.2 points per game that he scored and 4.9 rebounds per game, 7.4 assists per game. And this past season, which is his fifth season, he had no. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This was his sixth season. He had 20.1 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 7.1 assists per game. And the Hornets made the play-in, but they didn't win the playoffs. I think they could have made it. But I think that team is still young. They needed time to get it together. See, LaMelo played on some horrible Hornets teams. That's the thing I think people keep forgetting about that I don't really like that they leave it out. And that happens with a lot of players. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James played on some bad teams, but then he had good teams too. I think Paul Pierce has some bad Celtics teams, but don't talk about that. But I'm interested to see on how Naz Reid is going to play with the Hornets. It could be a good trade. I think both teams was dumb for making that trade because I don't think either team won in that situation like that. I get they want to get better, but it's like Naz Reid was about to start, and Ant really liked Naz Reid. I think he was a good fit for that team. But I understand they was trying to get Jaylen Brown and they was trying to trade for Giannis. I would have preferred for them to do something like that. But I don't know if the Jaylen Brown situation would have worked because it kind of would have been a Tatum and Brown situation part 2, reliving itself in Minnesota. Because Jaylen Brown, to me, in my opinion, I think he's the best two-way player in the NBA. And Ant-Man, I think he's making his way to becoming the face of the NBA. Or I can't say the face now because I think Wemby is the face now, but I think one of them. And I think soon he could be the best player in the league if he keeps improving. But I think Giannis would have been a better fit for him because Giannis would have been a big he could throw it into, and Giannis has the experience as a championship player, finals MVP, league MVP, best player in the league at one time. And I think Giannis has declined. I don't think Giannis can win the championship as the best player on the team now. But that's something I keep saying that because I'm teasing it right now because I'm gonna get to that later on. But I don't know why this Giannis thing. I was prepared to talk about that thing. But with this trade, LaMelo trade, the draft, WNBA, it's all just been a lot. It's a busy week in sports, and it's a great time to be a sports fan too. I'm gonna just say that. So I'm gonna say like this. Moving on to the next segment, A'ja Wilson. This was the segment that I was prepared to talk about at the beginning. To this trade happened this morning, so I had to rearrange my whole show. Well, it's gonna be all right. But I think this thing, this A'ja Wilson thing has been eating at me for a while. But this season, it's really been getting to me because I'm like, why is she not being promoted as the face of the league, as the best player in the league? And she's arguably the GOAT of this league. So what are we talking about? She's won 3 NBA championships, 2 finals MVPs. She's a 4-time league MVP, 3-time defensive player of the year. It's like multi-time all-star. I'm gonna read out how many all-star teams she's been on because I want to give her flowers right now. I'm bringing stats today. It may slow the show down, but I'm gonna do it because I don't think enough of these analysts on TV does. They read stats for it to benefit what they want, but they don't want to read the stats to tell the truth. It's like Michael Irvin used to say when he used to go on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. He'd be like, "You always talking about your history, but you don't talk about the history." I don't know if I did my Michael Irvin impression right, but I tried. You got to give me credit for that. Give me an A for effort. But yeah, she's a 7-time WNBA All-Star. She's an Olympian. That's right. She won in South Carolina. She won the first championship with Don Staley. She's a 2-time WNBA scoring champion, 5-time WNBA block leader. She won the Commissioner's Cup in 2022. She was the Rookie of the Year 2018. Just like I thought, she's arguably the most decorated player in WNBA history. I don't know why people keep calling Caitlin Clark the GOAT. Doesn't make sense. Like, I've never seen a player that play like Caitlin Clark. I'm like, stop it. Caitlin Clark is good, but Caitlin Clark will never be the best player in the WNBA. Actually, her team played better without her last season. They almost went to the finals without her injured. And she always cries to the refs. That's what messes her up, like a little crybaby. It's like, play through it. But I will have to admit, the WNBA officiating is horrible. But that's not just to Caitlin, that's to everybody. What I don't understand is this. A'ja Wilson is basically the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. I've never seen anything like her. I used to think Maya Moore was the GOAT. Maya Moore was one of my favorite players of all time. And Nneka Kumake, those are my favorite players of all time. But A'ja Wilson is the #1 player of all time in my heart. As far as WNBA players, she's the GOAT. I haven't seen anybody like her. She went, and I said it after she won the 3rd championship. She needs to be the GOAT. If she wins one more this year, she's the undisputed GOAT. Because that means she'll tie Cheryl Swoops. She'll tie Maya Moore at 4. And she's not stopping. She's just entering her prime. You don't believe me? I'm about to read off all her career stats. 21 points. 21.4 points per game. And that's in 8 years. Let's go to her rookie year in 2018. This is when the Vegas Aces, they were still the San Antonio Stars, but they had moved and changed their name in 2018 before she got there. So she was actually their first draft pick for the Vegas Aces. And that's when Mark Davis bought the team because it used to be owned by Peter Holt. But this is the thing with A'ja. She was the #1 overall pick for the 2018 NBA draft, and that was her coming off of a championship season with South Carolina. And I reiterate that was Dawn Staley's first championship. That started the dynasty at South Carolina, and she started a dynasty with Vegas when she came in. And let's go to this. 20.7 points per game. That was in her rookie year. And she played all 33 games that year. And she had 8 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1.6 blocks per game. Her numbers took a dip in her second year. She had 16.5 points per game, and she scored 6.4 rebounds per game, 1.8 assists per game, 1.7 blocks per game. We're moving on to A'ja's 3rd year, 20.5 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 2 blocks per game, and that was her career high in blocks at the time. Going into her 4th year, 18.3 points per game, 9.3 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists per game, and that was her career high. 1.3 blocks per game. Now we moving on to her 5th year. This was the year she won her first championship. 19.5 points per game, 9.5 rebounds per game, 1.6 assists per game, 2.2 blocks per game. No, excuse me, I made a mistake. 1.9 blocks per game. Moving on to her 6th year in the league. She won back-to-back championships, and she won her first finals MVP in this season. She averaged 22.8 points per game, 9.5 rebounds per game, 1.6 assists per game, 2.2 blocks per game. Moving on to her 7th year, she had a career high in points. That was 26.9 points per game. She had a career high in rebounds per game. That was 11.9 rebounds per game, 2.3 assists per game. She had a career high in steals per game, and that was 1.8. She had a career high in blocks per game, and that was 2.6. Going into her 8th season, she won a 3rd championship and her 2nd finals MVP. She had 23.4 points per game, 10.2 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists per game, 2.3 blocks per game. That's her career stats. So you can't tell me she ain't the GOAT. And she does it effortlessly. I always say I wish Angel Reese learned how to score like her. Because I think Angel Reese, if she scored like her, she would be the best player in the league. And she made her game more multi-dimensional. But I see Angel Reese, she's improving too. Caitlin Clark, I seen her declining a little bit. And that brings me to what I wanted to make about this topic. My point was, if she's doing all these historical things with the WNBA and for the Vegas Aces and for women's basketball, why is she not getting pushed and getting a lot of attention and marketing and getting paid like that? I believe it's Aaliyah Boston that has a career high. The career high. I don't want to say career high. She has the largest contract in WNBA history. Aaliyah Boston. Don't get me wrong. Aaliyah Boston is a champion in college. Aaliyah Boston was drafted number 1 overall in the 2020. Make sure I get this right. 3 NBA draft, WNBA draft. She's a 3-time WNBA All-Star. Yeah, she got some accolades and stuff. And she won the Commissioner's Cup in 2015. Like I said, national championship in South Carolina 2022. But here's the thing. She's not A'ja Wilson. So why isn't A'ja Wilson getting the largest contract in WNBA history? She's the most decorated player in the game. Then she's just getting started. So I don't understand that. And that's not me trying to hate on her. It's just like the truth is the truth. And I think that's where I have a problem with it. It's like she should have been the first on the line getting the contract extension. Because as I believe, I think most, if not all, WNBA players, when they was doing that league negotiation for the collective bargaining agreement, they all signed 1-year deals because they was going to sit out that year if they didn't get what they wanted. So here's the contract breakdown. Her total contract is $6.3 million per year. No, that's the total value. Her annual contract value is $1.575 million per year. And this is a 4-year deal, which basically says her 2026 salary is $1 million a year. And they said she will earn 20% of the WNBA salary cap. She won't be a free agent until 2030. Oh, 2030. God. it seemed like it was just 2020, not 2030s and 4 years. God, where did time go? Get Asia Wilson's contract out. And her contract is $5 million for 3 years. A salary, this is a base salary for the first year. That contract is 1.4 million per year, and they're saying eventually in 2027 and 2028 it will escalate to 20% of the league salary cap. So, okay, they're saying she has a shorter term contract from Aaliyah Boston. Hers is 3 years, Aaliyah's is 4. So I kind of see why it's like that. So both of their salaries will account for 20% of the WNBA salary cap. But Aaliyah's will be for longer. I still don't understand that part. Because she's the GOAT. But I can look at it like this too, because Michael Jordan was underpaid for most of his career. Then he started signing 1-year deals toward the end of his run with the Bulls. But he got paid off for more endorsements. That's my argument with the Asia Wilson thing. Why isn't Asia Wilson making more off for her endorsements than anybody in the WNBA? That's the thing I don't understand. I'm gonna break down Angel Reese's and Caitlin Clark's endorsement deals in a minute, and their stats and all that. See, today we're gonna try to learn some things. It's gonna be less than be arguing. Okay. Okay, let's go to Angel Reese, the ATL Barbie, aka the Bayou Barbie, Chi-Town Barbie. Angel Reese really stepped it up because she had became a cancer in the locker room with her with the Chicago Sky, so they traded her this offseason. So I think she's becoming a better leader on the court with her team, and a new teammate seemed to like her. That's the thing that's good with that, because the old teammates, it wasn't meshing. She started throwing them under the bus in Chicago, and the whole coaching change situation with Teresa Weatherspoon leaving. I think they should have kept Teresa Weatherspoon. She was a good coach for her, but they said she was too close to Angel and all that. But, okay, Angel's a 2-time All-Star. NCAA champs with LSU. That's where this whole Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry kind of started. Kind of like, it's basically the WNBA's and women's basketball version of Bird and Magic. I see where they're going with it, but okay, 2-time WNBA rebound leader. I think she's the queen of rebounding, but she got to make more shots, which she is now. That's why I was killing her last season and beginning of this season for it. But she's stepping it up. 2-time WNBA peak performer. Let's run down these career stats. Run down these career stats for you. Okay, 13.6 points per game, 13.1 rebounds per game, and that's a career high for so far. 14.7 points per game, that's a career high for so high. That's her second year. And 12.6 points per game, and her career numbers as far as scoring is 14.1 points per game for her scoring average. I'm gonna read the rebounding too, because that's rebound is a big part of her game. 12.9 rebounds per game and 10 rebounds per game is her career. No, that's just her career numbers for that. So I see some improvement. What I don't understand why they showing on, I went on Google, they're showing Caitlin Clark's 3 years career stats each year, but they're not showing Angel Reese's. So I'm gonna get that. Let me read off Caitlin's. Caitlin's rookie year was 19.2 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, and that was a career high, 8.4 assists per game. Her second year, 16.5 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 8.8 assists per game, and that was a career high, 1.6 steals per game. And for her third year, 20.4 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game, 8.3 assists per game. And for her career numbers, 18.9 points per game, 5.3 assists per game, rebounds per game, and 8.5 assists per game. So what I'm saying with that is their stats don't compare to what A'ja Wilson has done for the league. They have popularity. Yeah, Angel Reese has popularity outside the court. And because the endorsement she got in her NIL deal that she got in college, same for Caitlin. But you got to look at it like this. The WNBA was in a different place before they came in there. Which they brought a lot of the eyeballs to the league, but A'ja Wilson was carrying the league on her back all these years. Especially with the Olympics, she represented them. But I'm going to show you how these things compare to each other as far as endorsements. Okay, there we go. Got all the information up here there. These are their endorsements compared to A'ja Wilson's. Angel Reese has a Reebok endorsement, Beats by Dre endorsement, Amazon endorsement, Boisier endorsement, Wingstop, and Xfinity. But they didn't include the McDonald's one too. She had one too. Let's see on a lot of those commercials. And Caitlin Clark has the Nike, State Farm, Gatorade, Wilson Sport Goods, Panani, Gamebridge. get Asia Wilson's endorsements. Okay, Asia Wilson has the Nike one endorsement. She has a Gatorade. She has the Ruffles, Mountain Dew. She got a Burn Wax Can Do, Apparel Lifestyle. Which I still don't see her on enough WNBA billboards and commercials. Like she should be all around every national brand like MJ was and across the world. Most women I know that don't watch basketball, the two players I hear them always say is Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. I never hear them say Asia Wilson. You be like, I be pointing that out during the game. I was like, look, that's Asia Wilson. She's the best in the league. She's like the Michael Jordan of the league. And he's like, for real? I thought Angel was. I thought Caitlin was. No. What are y'all watching? Why is she not being promoted like that? She should be in every household being promoted. And mostly what I see from her is a lot of people saying like she's dating Bam. So I hear more of that from attention, but people that don't watch basketball don't know about Asia like that. And I think that's the biggest travesty that the WNBA is going to have to deal with. And it's a shame that that's going on. And it's like, how can y'all have that happen? And Stephen A. Smith gets on my nerves because I hear him keep saying, well, you got to protect Caitlin Clark. She's the cash cow. No, the hell she's not. Is Asia Wilson is the cash cow. She is the damn league. She's with the league as far as she's everything that's right about the league. That's what I'm going to say. She plays basketball the right way. Her teammates respect her. She's respected around the league. She's respected everywhere. So why is she not the person? Why are y'all pushing Caitlin on us? And like I said, Caitlin is earning her stripes. Let her earn her way and let her continue to be Caitlin Clark. Stop trying to push her as like she's the best player in the league. They're comparing her to Michael Jordan. I'm like, in what damn way is she Michael Jordan? And also, Indiana Fever games have dipped down from where it was in recent years. Before, it used to be a lot of people there. It's not a lot of people there now. So how is she the Michael Jordan? Every year MJ was there, the Bulls sold out. NBA sold out games. All-Star games is crazy. Do you know that when MJ left and retired the league, all three times, the league's ratings dipped a lot? That's how big he was for basketball. Same thing with Tiger Woods with golf. When Tiger Woods was not in golf, the league's numbers, the PGA and the tournaments and all that, they took hits. That's what you call a cash cow. I challenge you. I challenge people that saying that. Take Asia Wilson off with WNBA and see where it'll be at. Because Caitlin has been out and ratings haven't dipped when she was out for her injury. People, they had record high in ratings for the playoffs while she was out. So how is she the cash cow? Explain that to me. Doesn't make sense. And see, that's the problem with the analysts. They don't want to tell you the truth. They all are programmed to tell you a certain narrative about each player, each team, and what to talk about. They cover certain stories. But I see it like this: you cover it all, and you be fair to everybody, and you just tell it like it is, and stop just telling one way and waiting for this show and waiting for this network to cover that. No, that's the problem with mainstream media in sports and mainstream media everywhere is cover it all. Report the news. You don't pick and choose. And who you want to cover, what you want to cover, when you want to cover it. No. This is why people don't trust the media. It's being dishonest. And I think you got to cover it fairly, and you got to tell it how it is and not how it might be. A certain person said that people don't want you to mention. Sean Puffy Combs, he mentioned that. He told the truth. And like I said, I like all three of these players. But I say fair is fair. Market Asia as the GOAT, and you'll see the league take off in record numbers from little girls watching it. You'll see grown women watching it, and you'll get more men watching it. Promote it that way and start instead of promoting, certain agendas. And I think that's where the WNBA's problem is at, is they're promoting certain agendas to a certain audience instead of promoting heterosexual women that identify with being heterosexual and proud of it. And I think sometimes that kind of hurts Asia in a way because she's proud of being a heterosexual woman. I think Caitlyn, sometimes it hurts her because she doesn't buy into that lifestyle that they want you to buy into in the WNBA. And I think that's why the viewership has been down in the WNBA. It's hard to get a lot of viewers consistently. I know little girls and stuff and young women that play basketball, but they won't watch it. And I know some young women that could play basketball, but they don't play on the team because they're saying, look, they're not with that agenda that the WNBA is pushing, aka the NBA, a subsidiary of the NBA. And I think that's something that has to be talked about, but mainstream media doesn't want to talk about it. They want to gloss over it. Similar to the AZ Floyd and Paige Becker situation. The reason why they drafted AZ Falls to the hell team is that? I forgot. I remember. Slipped my mind. They play in Dallas too. It's the Dallas Wings. The Dallas Wings. Reason why they drafted her to the Dallas Wings is because she's in a relationship with Paige Beckers. They both went to UConn together. They're both dating, and that's their type. That's their thing. I'm not hating on it. That's what you want to do. That's what you're going to do. But they didn't draft her for basketball reasons. They drafted her for personal reasons. I don't like that. And both of them went back-to-back number one picks to the Dallas Wings. Paige in 2025 and AZ in 2026 this year. And I think AZ, it took her a while to get adjusted to it, but she's playing better now with the team. Moving on to, hold on, get something real quick. Be back in a sec. A little break. Okay, we back, baby. Sorry about that. But we transition into the Shedeur Sanders segment. Reporters, credible reporters from the Browns, what do they call it, the beat or beat reporters, or I'll just say Browns reporters because I don't want, you got national reporters from the Browns and you got local reporters that cover them that says that Shedeur Sanders is making a lot of progress in the QB competition against Deshaun Watson, which I thought he would. I think the only reason that Deshaun Watson is getting reps on the first team is because they gave him that big ass contract that was guaranteed, fully guaranteed, fully guaranteed. That's why I think he's getting a shot, because Deshaun Watson hasn't been that good since 2020 when he was with the Houston Texans. So I think that's just the Cleveland Browns trying to get it as much as they can and squeeze as much as they can out of their investment, which nobody's hating on, but don't sit here and act like he'll beat Shedeur Sanders out, which I don't think. I think Shedeur Sanders right now is a better quarterback than him. But I think what's going to end up happening is that they're going to give him the edge. Him, as far what I'm saying, him is Deshaun Watson. He's the him I'm talking about getting the edge because they paid him all that money. So they're going to give him one last shot. Another thing I think, too, they got multiple draft picks, first round picks the next few years. So I think they're going to try to use that on a QB, which I think is dumb. Use that money that you have and rebuild your roster and those draft picks. Use those draft picks also to rebuild that roster, because if you build that up for QB, he'll be ready. I'll be back. Got to get my water. Refresh. But I think the reason they're doing that because they're giving them a lot of money. And I think you get a lot of guys that do that in the NFL. A lot of these teams do it. It's like basically they're treating him like he's a first round pick for their organization. So they're going to keep giving them shots, which I think it could hurt their team. Because I say let the best player play, but rebuild that roster around your QB, because if you rebuild that roster around your QB would be prosperous and your team would be prosperous, and that makes a better team, because the Philadelphia Eagles, my favorite football team, did that. The Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl champs this past year, just did that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did it with Brady. They built the roster around him and had those pieces. So all you have to do is plug the QB in there to be the missing piece, and it makes it easier for your team to flow with the team chemistry. But when you have your QB has to carry everything, or you're trying to plug and play and get somebody, just put any quarterback to play with a bad team, it's not going to work. I say build that offensive line up, put some receivers around the Browns QB, and let's see how they do in the training camp in the preseason games, and that's how you're going to determine who your QB going to be, which I think is going to be Shedeur. I got a little bias for that, of course. But I like Deshaun Watson when he played, but Deshaun ain't been the same Deshaun since he been out with them allegations and the injuries and all that. So I get you giving him a shot, but it's like, I thought y'all was done with him. You got a diamond in the rough with Shedeur. And they're saying he's making good progress. So that means he's learning the offense. And people keep forgetting he led the I don't want to say FBS, FCS. I forgot which part of football, which conference, not conference, but level in the football, the NCAA that he played in, where they say he had the most passing yards for that. And people keep forgetting too that he was a Heisman Trophy winner when he was a Heisman Trophy candidate with Colorado and Jackson State. And he was also the best player on the team when Travis Hunter first got to Jackson State. And we can say Colorado too the first year. Travis just started getting the feel of the game, and he started dominating on both sides of the ball. That's when he started getting better than Shedeur. But at one point in time, it was kind of neck and neck. Well, Shedeur was actually better than him at Jackson State. People don't really think about that. But I've seen a lot of Jackson State games, and I've seen every Colorado game that Shedeur played in. So that's my particular take on that. Moving on to another surprise that happened the other day. This happened like the day before the draft, along with the Giannis thing. Dusty May, head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, left college to take the Dallas Mavericks head coaching job right after his season ended. The last game that he coached, his team won a national championship. I don't know if this is a Michigan University coaching curse or what, but their coaches, that's the second coach that left college to coach in the pros after winning a national championship. And I'm not mad at it. I'm glad. I think more of the college coaches that are national champions should go into the league and try to go for it, because the last college coach to actually leave college basketball to coach in the NBA after winning the national championship was Larry Brown, which Larry Brown, I don't really consider him a college coach. He's more of a pro guy. He's an NBA guy. Larry Brown coached multiple teams in the NBA. He coached multiple teams in college. He played in the ABA. So it's like, I don't look at Larry Brown. If I'm not mistaken, he played in the NBA. I got to look and see if Larry Brown played in the NBA. But he won a NBA championship with the Detroit Pistons in 2004. So they said he was the first coach to win both a national championship and a NBA championship in basketball history, which I already knew that. So yeah, he only played in the NBA, but he coached in the ABA and NBA. Final fours. And that's when he left Kansas to go to the San Antonio Spurs. But he had coached in the NBA before that. The Denver Nuggets was his first NBA coaching job. He coached at SMU, New York Knicks, Charlotte Bobcats, of course, the Philadelphia 76ers with Allen Iverson, and Detroit Pistons, which he won the championship with, Indiana Pacers, LA Clippers, San Antonio Spurs, Jersey Nets, Kansas. I'm gonna say it like this: he did a hell of a job when he coached with SMU with that team, because that team was nothing. He came in there and revamped it. But I think Dusty May will do well with the Mavericks. I think he's going to end up winning the championship for them. But I think Jason Kidd should have never been fired from the Mavericks, because I think Jason Kidd had him going in the right direction. But I think ownership, I think they jacked that up. Because I don't think the Dallas Mavericks ownership really cares about basketball like that. I think they just care about selling tickets. That's why I think they got rid of Luka. I got a conspiracy theory. You can call me crazy and say I'm pulling out my tinfoil hat and all this, but this is my theory on that. I think the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic and they made a deal with the NBA to do that because they would get the number one pick. And I think they're planning on moving the team, the Dallas Mavericks, to Vegas. And I think because the new owner of the Mavericks, Muriel Anderson, she owns a bunch of casinos. So I think that's really what it is. They're trying to make the casino business merge with the Mavericks so that the Mavericks way more money with that. Not caring about basketball. Basketball is kind of like the sideshow for them. And I can't be that off on it because you got a lot of NBA owners that do that with their teams. They don't really care about their teams winning and stuff. They care about making money. And that's why a lot of these teams have losing franchises. But I think Dusty May was a good hire for them to do that, because you're starting off fresh. You got somebody that coached in college, which Cooper Flack is basically 1 year out of college, so it can communicate to them in a way that a college coach would, and they have a younger team. But I prefer Jason Kidd staying the coach. But Dusty May, I wish him luck in all his endeavors with the Mavericks. And I think he's the guy that can win it. I think he'll win a championship with him. I think Billy Donovan came close to doing it with OKC when he coached them. The college and NBA game is hard because it's not like the NFL and college game. They're two different games, because the college game, the rules is different from how the NBA is. Like the college is 35-second shot clock. NBA is 24 seconds. College is 40 minutes in the game. So basically 20 minutes in the first half, 20 in the second half. NBA is 48 minutes, 12 minutes in each half, 12 minutes in each quarter. So I think that's why a lot of college coaches fail, because the way the schemes and operation of the games is different, and the way the teams are too. Because you coaching grown men, so it's gonna be hard for you to coach grown men the same way you coaching 18 and 19-year-old boys, 20-year-old guys. So that's my take on that. But I think he could be the second coach to win both a national championship and NBA championship. So I think he has the patience for it, and I think he's a program builder. That's what it's going to take for somebody to do that, especially in Dallas. It's a mess there. And they have a credible voice, and they got Masai Ujiri, who won the championship and built the championship team with the Toronto Raptors. He was a GM then, president of basketball operations. He left and came. He replaced Nico Harrison, who took the blame for that Luka trade, but I think the owners told him to do it. But I want to say good luck to the Mavericks. Now to the segment that I kept on transitioning to the segment that I kept on teasing throughout the whole show. Giannis Antetokounmpo gets traded to the Miami Heat. This is crazy. And I was watching First Take the other day when Kendrick Perkins said something that I was thinking the same thing about this trade is I don't really see this trade working out, because I think unless they get Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard can be the alpha dog as far as, I'm not going to say leadership, I'm saying as far as scoring and carrying the team to win a championship, because I think that's what's needed. I don't think Giannis and Bam could win the championship with just them in the supporting cast. I think you need another superstar. Because Giannis, like I said earlier, he's not the same player that he was. That's what I think was the main problem in Milwaukee. But I think the mainstream media, sports media, has been covering that up. Giannis's game is declining, even though some of his scoring numbers has been the same. But if you look at how he can't. His game, he's not. The NBA changed over the time since the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship. And I think the thing that people got to remember is the reason why the Bucks were so strong and dominant during that time is because of Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday. They really helped Giannis a lot. Giannis scored his 50 points in that closeout game, and Giannis is a scoring machine. Well, was a scoring machine with that team, but Holiday and Middleton did a lot of the dirty work. Plus, that team was so great together. It was perfectly put. It had great chemistry. And I think they were never able to replace that. And then as Chris Middleton got older and Jrue Holiday left, got traded, both of them got older, but when they traded for Damian Lillard, that wasn't the right fit. Because Dame, to me, is a Portland Trailblazer, which I wouldn't be surprised if they traded for Dame, but I still don't think that's going to put them over the top. I think they got to get Kawhi Leonard, because Giannis can't be the best player on a championship team anymore. He's just not that same player that he was back then. I think, Giannis is good inside the paint, but as far as like going outside, scoring consistently, he can't do that. But I keep hearing people saying, oh, this is going to change the NBA landscape. No. The Knicks are still the best team in the East. Celtics are still a top 3 team in the East. The Detroit Pistons are still a top 3 team in the East. And then you got to look out for Indiana, because Tyrese Halliburton is coming back. He's going to have something to say about this. So you got to really think about how this is going to turn out. It's not going to be something to where, this is going to be like the big 3 when Wade, Bosh, and D-Wade, LeBron joining forces with D-Wade. It's going to be something way more different. Remember, when these guys joined forces, these guys were still in their prime of their career. That's not the case. I don't think Giannis is in his prime. And I think Bam is the second or third best player on the team, as on any team, as far as that. Remember, they needed Jimmy Butler to get them over the top. And since Jimmy Butler left, the Heat haven't been the same. So you got to remember, too, it took a year for that Heat team to really get it together. They got to the finals together, but you saw LeBron was uncomfortable with the role he had as the second best player. And Wade had to defer to him and say, look, you're the man now. I'm going to defer to you. This is what we need because you're the best player in the league. And that worked. Which in that case, Bam can't say that to Giannis because Giannis is not that same type of player. I think this can be more of like a Shaq trade if they play it right. If you get Kawhi Leonard and you pair him with those two guys, then you can talk to me and say they're championship contenders. But right now, they're just a regular playoff team. And I'm going to say it. Kendrick Perkins said it on First Take, and he's the only other person I've heard say it like that. Which I'm glad, I'm proud of him saying it. He says a lot of things that these mainstream sports reporters don't want to say because they're fanboys, like I said before. They're going to say what each other says, and they're not going to step out of line because they want to be buddies with these guys. And they want these players to like them instead of telling the truth. Giannis is not even an MVP level player. Is he a top 10 to 15 player in the NBA? Yeah, possibly. That's why I was hoping that the Celtics traded for Giannis, because if you know me, you know I don't like the Celtics because both of my teams are rivals with the Celtics. So I knew that trade would bring the Celtics down for some few years. But now that they still have Tatum and Brown, I'm a little scared of that. But Giannis going to the Heat, that's not doing anything. He ain't scaring nobody. Giannis just doesn't have it. And I hope that he proves me wrong, but I don't think so. But I don't think Pat Riley is dumb with the moves that he's making. I think he's going to make some big moves, possibly Kawhi Leonard. But Kawhi Leonard, the thing with that I've been hearing is they're saying he's still under investigation. The Clippers are still under investigation from his contract when he signed with them. Certain things. So they're saying they got to wait for the league to stop investigating the Clippers to even consider making a trade. But also they got to wait for the league to stop investigating them to even make moves around the Clippers, because the Clippers is hot right now. But I think it'll be done in a few days. But I don't know if the Clippers want to get rid of Kawhi, because Kawhi is their cash cow. Even though he doesn't play a lot. He played a lot this season, but this is the exception. But I don't think they want to trade him because he's that big marquee, and they just moved into that new arena called the Intuit Dome, separate from the state. I still call it the Staples Center, the Crypto.com arena. They moved out of that and built their own stadium. Their owner, Steve Ballmer, built his own arena because he's like, I don't want to be playing with the Lakers, same place they play in, which I understand. Which it was a smart move, but they need Kawhi Leonard to sell them tickets. They need a superstar face for that. So we got to see what's going to happen with that. And moving on to the next segment, the 2026 NBA Draft. AJ Devonza out of BYU got drafted number 1 overall by the Washington Wizards. Now, this is the third time they said in modern history, basketball history, that the Washington Wizards had the number 1 overall pick. The last time that they had it was in 2010 with John Wall. which it turned out good for a while. They sold tickets and they had a superstar, but they would never win the championship. But they had some good playoff runs, some good years, and they had him. They paired him with Bradley Beal. That was good. That was a fun team to watch. I used to play with them in 2K. I'm not gonna lie, but I knew they wouldn't win no championship. And then the first time that they had it was in 2001 in modern history. That's when they drafted Kwame Brown, which that didn't really work out because Michael Jordan, this is when he came and played with the Wizards, and he was kind of like a part owner and GM of the Wizards at that time. And then Kwame Brown wasn't being properly developed, and he wasn't ready for the play with Jordan because him and Adam Morrison, they shouldn't have gotten them. They should have gotten Jerry Stackhouse and traded for a lot of these guys. And what's my man name? He played for the Pistons. It was Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton. They needed them. I think those would have been better fits because MJ was in a win now mode when they drafted Kwame Brown and Adam Morrison. Those were rebuilding projects. So I think that's where it kind of ruined their careers with that. Which MJ ended up getting those guys when he bought the Hornets. Well, Bobcats at the time, but it ended up being the Hornets in modern day. But I think MJ was a bad GM, so that's what kind of wrecked that team. Because you had Gilbert Arenas, you had Kwame Brown, you had Jerry Stackhouse, you had let me pull up that full roster. And he brought back Doug Collins to coach that team. He pull up that 01 team. Because MJ came back to play for them because they were they wanted him to sell tickets, but he had a falling out with Abe Poland and the players and all that because it was a lot going on with that situation. Get the roster. So, oh wow, they hit Hubert Davis on that team. Wow. Brendan Hayward, Popeye Jones, Christian Laettner, Tyronn Lue. That's right. Courtney Alexander. They had that Kwame's rookie year. Who did they have after that? Okay, they got Larry Hughes the next year, Charles Oakley, Jerry Stackhouse, Byron Russell. So they basically got a lot of MJ's guys, but they were trying. They had young guys too on the team. But yeah, I think the Wizards, they made a good pick with AJ DeBonza. I wasn't a fan of AJ, but I think the thing with AJ is this: AJ is resilient. He's a leader, and then I think he's the star presence that Washington has been looking for the last few years since John Wall left. And I think that's going to be good because the attendance is low at Wizards games, so they need that. So I'm proud of them for coming on in and doing that and drafting AJ. I was thinking Darren Peterson because I thought somehow the Utah Jazz is going to maneuver their way to drafting AJ because AJ spent a lot of time in BYU. I think he's actually from Utah. Let me see. He may have been born there. I don't know. No, he was born in Massachusetts, but he spent time in Utah because of BYU. And he played at a prep school in Utah his senior year. So there's a connection. So his family kind of built a life there. So that's why I thought he was going to go. But they went the other direction. They made the right basketball move. And I think the dude can score. Elite 6'9". That's what they need. Big man, you're pairing with Anthony Davis if AD is staying. Pair him with Trae Young. So I think that can work out. I don't think they win the championship, but no, we're gonna pump the brakes. They rebuilding. And then the Jazz, they drafted Darren Peterson. I kind of got a negative opinion on Darren Peterson because I seen him sub himself out of games and say, I'm not playing during Kansas games this season. So that kind of left a bad vibe in me. I don't know. Maybe he can change my mind. And I was hearing Kendrick Perkins on ESPN comparing him to Kobe Bryant. And I was like, hell no. There'll never be another Kobe Bryant, especially not him. But I think he could be, I guess, a combo guard, or I guess you can play him at point guard because he's a dynamic shot creator. That's the thing with him, and he can score from anywhere. That's the one thing. But Big Perk was trying to compare him to Kobe, but that was like, nah, you're going too far, Perk. Nah, dude ain't no Kobe because Kobe would never quit. So don't ever fix your mouth to say that. That's how I became a Lakers fan, because of Kobe Bryant. That Mamba mentality is real. But then we got my guy, Cameron Boozer out of Duke. I live in North Carolina, but I hate Duke with a passion. But I used to watch Duke games. I like Carlos Boozer, and I like his twins. I'm a Carolina fan, and I'm rooting for the Boozer twins. It's funny. I like Carolina, but I like some of the Duke players, the McDonald's All-Americans they've been getting the last few years. I like Cooper Flagg. I liked Austin Rivers. I liked Zion Williamson. He was a beast in college, man. Paolo Banchero. Guys are no joke. And I think he's gonna do well because he's got his father guiding him, and his father's a pro, his father's a leader, and his father's been putting some good stuff in him, and I see that in both of those twins. So I like that with them. It's important to have a father to teach you values in life, and I think that's what Kobe Bryant's father did. I think the Ball brothers, father, Doc Rivers, the Currys. I think it's good because it teaches you how to persevere. Your dad is going to tell you that in sports and in life. And the thing I like with him is that he has a high basketball IQ and IQ in general. You got to have one to get into Duke. I don't think they accept dumb jocks there. And I think he's a forward at heart. So he's going to come in. I think he'll be the most NBA ready player coming in. People are saying Darren Peterson, but I think it's him to be an impact player. And I think that's a good shift because I know they're trying to get rid of Ja Morant and they need to put some leadership in that organization. So you can start with Cameron Boozer because John Morant, he's putting a bad vibe, and then he's been a cancer to that city and to that locker room and to that team and fan base. And Caleb Wilson, he's a North Carolina guy, so I love him. He went to the Bulls, like another North Carolina legend, the GOAT. So I guess he's following his footsteps and Michael Jordan. But he was one pick off. Michael Jordan was the third pick to the Bulls. He's the fourth pick to the Bulls. I like Caleb Wilson. He's got heart. He's an elite athlete. He's versatile, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think he's going to bring he's going to be like a culture change to that Bulls organization because they needed that coming out. He's a good building block to that. But I think the best player out of this draft is going to end up being Darius Acuff out of Arkansas. He played for Coach Cal at Arkansas, and I think he played with him at Kentucky too. Let me check and see. No, he played with him at Arkansas, but I think he's going to be an impact player because to me, I think he's Derrick Rose 2.0. I wish he would have went to Chicago because that would have been crazy. Look out for him. He's an explosive scoring guard. The boy can score like crazy. Clutch shot maker. He's no joke. And he's a traditional point guard, but he adds the other stuff like a Derrick Rose. He can score. It's just, he was my favorite player to watch in college basketball this year. And I'm glad. And I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see all these prospects. I'm excited for this season to begin. Thank you for joining in this episode of Kick Clutch Sports. I appreciate you for taking the time to spend your time and listening to me talk about what my favorite thing to do is watch sports, play sports. I just love sports. I said it before. I'm going to say it a lot. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me talk about these things. And for those of you that are joining in for the first time, remember to subscribe to the Kick Clutch Sports channel. Leave comments in the comment section. Like this video and like this episode and like the other episodes after you watch them. Hit the bell notification so you'll know when I post new episodes. I usually do them on Saturdays a lot, but we got a wrestling episode that comes on. So when I do wrestling, I don't put the episodes or air them on Saturdays. So those of you that watch the Kick Clutch post wrestling show after every wrestling pay-per-view, tune in to that Saturday. Follow us on IG at Kick Clutch Sports. Follow us on TikTok at Kick Clutch Sports. And for those of you that watch my wrestling post show, I'll see you Saturday. And for those of you that watch Kick Clutch Sports, I'll see you next week. And for those of you that joined for the first time, I hope that I see you more and more. Thank you for joining. Later.